Here we are. We're starting right now. This is episode 82, NoLaughTrack podcast. Thanks to Circle of Heat, letting us play the music. As always, love those guys. Like them on Facebook, Circle of Heat. Like us on Facebook, NoLaughTrack. We're also on Twitter at NoLaughTrack. Enough of that business. Also, I should mention we have a new logo. It started popping up about a week or two ago. Love it. Check that out. Right now, the return of Tracey Ashley from episode 29 to episode 82.
I was on episode 29?
29.
Oh, my gosh.
29. That was 2 calendar years ago.
It was.
That was 2012.
Oh, was it? Okay, I keep thinking it was 2013. So it was 2012 I did your podcast.
Yeah, right before Christmas.
See, I was here, though, in 2000. Was I here? No, it was 2012. You were totally right. That's right. That's right.
Hey, I listened back to it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong.
I listened back to it. And I know that a lot has happened to you.
You know, a lot has happened.
In that amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to get to all of that. First, today's Wednesday, so you performed last night.
How
was it?
Show. It was fantastic. Had like a half full, I guess, right about medium crowd for a Tuesday, which I was happy for a Tuesday night because I've been here back in the day when it was just a couple of rows, So it was a decent crowd, and they seat them well here.
Oh yeah.
So the 2 openers were fantastic, and we had Nate Apshire.
Oh yeah.
And Rob Burrill, very funny. And I believe this is Rob's first week emceeing at Acme.
Okay, yeah, I don't know that name.
Yeah, he's very, very funny. It's a great show. People need to come out. But what was great about last night for me was my first show of 2014.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of new stuff that I really wanted to work on. And I had my new CD.
Right.
So this is all like these new firsts for me. Oh my gosh, I actually have a CD now.
Yeah.
So I had to remember that. I almost forgot to
mention
promote it. You know what? I mentioned it is when the show's over and they're clapping.
No.
I forgot. I was having so much fun. I forgot about it.
There's your phone reminding you to mention the CD.
So yeah.
And then after the show, correct or incorrect, you stayed up all night because...
Yeah. Well, because I had so much fun writing. I wrote a lot. I've been writing on my break and writing. I've been doing a ton of colleges.
Yeah.
And when I do the colleges, there really aren't many restrictions. But some schools you go to, they tell me, hey, you got to keep it PG. Or, hey, you got to be... I've never had G rated, maybe one time. And it was really hard for me. But
PG at a college.
PG, yeah. It depends what the situation is. If it's Little Sibs Weekend, meaning the students have invited their siblings.
Oh, yeah.
So there might be a 10-year-old in the audience. Do you know what I mean? So you got to adjust your act for that. And I'm able to do all of that. So when I come to the clubs, it's like, yes, I can be free. I'm running, and I have so much fun. And I went out on stage last night and tried all this new material stuff that I know would not work at a college, but I could do it here. And some of it went over great. Some of it did not. But that was a great feeling. And then, got to, do some stuff off the CD. They were just a fantastic crowd last night. And my problem is I used to be a cruise director, so I love people. After the show, I'm always, I need to sell my CD. I'm sitting there, how you doing? Talking about their personal life, One guy's telling me he'd been divorced and he wants to get an RV and go around the country. I'm like, oh my goodness, my aunt and uncle did that. We're just talking and talking. And the Dan Schlichtel from Stand Up Records,
Dan?
He says to me afterwards, he goes, Tracey, you just got to remember, you got to sell your CD. He goes, you sat over there for 45 minutes and talked to these people. And I did. I talked to a ton of people just talking.
Oh, no, I hope there wasn't a line and then as you're talking to one person, it's dying down.
I sold a few, I sold a few, but we were just talking. And they were just a great crowd. So then afterwards, we kept it going. I got with another comic and Brandy Brown, and we started writing. And once you get excited about what you've been doing that night, and we got to finish this. We got to cap off these jokes. So I'm sitting there, we're just writing and stuff. I went to bed at 7:30 this morning.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't just because you were trying to find out before anyone who was going to be the next Vikings coach?
I heard about that. Here's the funny thing. As I'm going to sleep, it's on the news, on the television, in the hotel room. We may have a brand new coach.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, sweet. When I wake up, we'll know. All right.
Did you, is it at the hotel over there? Did they deliver the newspaper in the morning? Did you hear the thud on the door?
No. They're getting a little lazy. I don't know what happened. I didn't have a newspaper or anything, so I don't know. But who did they announce who it was?
Yes. The Vikings do have a new coach. This will be we got to be the first podcast talking about this.
Okay. Who is it? Because
his name is, What is it now? Zimmer. I always think George Zimmer, Men's Warehouse, but that's not it. Mike Zimmer.
Well, you said George Zimmer. I thought you was Zimmerman.
No.
Hell no, he ain't the new coach. We whooping his ass.
No guns allowed in the Metrodome or wherever they're playing.
Right.
That guy's not invited.
So what is his name again?
John Zimmer?
John Zimmer.
John Zimmer? Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer.
That's it.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Mike.
Okay, we're going to go with Mike.
Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator, now Vikings head coach.
Okay. I'm sure my husband will know all about that.
But it's been a long time since I've stayed up all night with kids and a job that starts at 5:30 in the morning. That never happens. Mm-hmm. But back like 10 years ago when I was a lowly intern at the radio station, I would hang out there all night. Mm-hmm. Isn't it weird? It's just made me think of this. Getting home and the newspaper would be sitting at my door from the news that happened like while I was awake, and then I was still awake. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like,
yep, that's how I was.
I should be sleeping before I get this news.
I'm like, am I dreaming?
Yeah.
There's a new coach. I must be dreaming. And then when I got the text from Derek saying, "Don't forget about 1," I knew the time, to be here. And I was like, "Okay, let's get up, let's do it." And then I'm like, "Is it faster to drive over in the ice and try and find a parking spot, or walk over in the snow and freeze?" So I just walked over.
You walked in your parka?
No, I just walked over. Yeah. Oh my God, you see, I look like an Eskimo or something. Black Eskimo. Is that a drink? Are there black Eskimos?
And isn't that a drink?
Is it a drink?
I don't know. It should be.
It'd be chilly.
Give me 2 black Eskimos.
It'd be badass.
2 black Eskimos hold the ice.
Right?
Actually, ice would have to be an ingredient, would it?
Crushed ice.
See?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where should we begin on all the things that have happened to you in the last year? Let's go back. You mentioned the CD.
Yes.
And when you were here, you recorded it here?
I recorded the CD here.
Yep.
And with Stand Up Records.
Mm-hmm.
And we took some time to kind of put it out. I didn't want to put it out. I didn't want to record it and put it out in 2 months. I know a lot of people do that, or they'll put it out the next whatever week. I really wanted it to sound good. And, Dan does a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's really good.
And I also wanted it to coincide with things that are going on in my career. So right now I'm starting my, back 2014 on my tour, starting my colleges. So it all coincides with that. We released it December 3rd. So far, knock on wood, it's been getting some pretty good reviews. Mm-hmm. I don't know who these critics are. I'll be really honest with you. I have no idea. But all the reviews I've seen have been good.
Yeah.
One guy said, it's not groundbreaking, right? And he said, but she's amazingly funny. And I'm like, well, that's the point of the CD, is to be funny.
Yeah.
But he said from beginning to end, she's hilarious. I think what he meant was because it's autobiographical,
right?
And so I'm talking about, and that's been done before, But he said that the stories. He liked the stories and the things I talked about. Being from the South, moving to the Midwest, talking about my family and those experiences.
Yep.
So the reviews were really good, and I'm happy with that. And at first I was so like, you get nervous when you put your art out there, right? Because you're like, oh, now people can criticize. And I was so nervous, but once the feedback was coming back and family members listened to it. Oh, I listened to your CD. People from back in my past downloaded it on iTunes. They're in their car listening, telling me it was great.
Paid for it, I hope.
Yeah, paid for it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
On iTunes, yeah. Loved it and everything. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm like, okay, let me get it out there. So I feel good about it.
And the picture on the front, you're right on the front there.
Yeah, there was a big debate about that. What we were trying to go with is like it's my driver's license, and I've had my license. They had my name wrong. My name is Tracey Ashley.
Right. People
are always getting my name wrong. You would think this is simple. It's Tracey Ashley. My entire life, even today, on the way here, that's your last name? Every single time. Like, why are people so amazed? Come on now, it's 2014. Ashley can be my last name.
It's my girlfriend's first name, by the way.
But that's what everybody. I was flying to Colorado, left my boarding pass on the plane, so I had to get another one for my connection.
Yeah.
And the guy was from the Philippines, the customer service agent. I said, "Sir, I left my boarding pass on the plane. I need another one." And he said, "What is your last name?" And I said, "Ashley." He stopped. Is that the last name? Like really concerned. Like, are you sure? Is that the last name? And I said, yes. And then he says, oh, because sometimes Ashley can be the first name.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I was like, well, thank you for that information.
Someday I might even meet one.
Never know. You never know.
And what was his name? Did you make fun of him?
No. I just all I kept thinking
his name
was he said the purse name. I was like, he just said the purse name. the purse name. That made me laugh.
When you do your next CD, whenever that is, you should call it Purse Name Tracey.
Purse Name Tracey. We've already had some different titles, people. As a matter of fact, the one critic, he wanted me to name it. I do a bit about titties, about the word titties being hilarious and being one of my favorite words and a funny word. He wanted that to be the title. The guy who says it's not groundbreaking.
Oh.
He wanted titties to be the title.
That does come to that. If you knew nothing about Tracey Ashley and the CD's called Titties, what you do is not
nothing.
No. Maybe, Lisa Lampanelli would name it hers Titties or something. Or even more likely a male comic.
Yeah.
Or Amy Schumer or something.
Somebody, but that's not me.
No,
no.
Like,
no. I don't want people to think ever that I'm some squeaky clean. This is not Sesame Street when you come to my show, okay? I'm an adult, and we're going to talk about some adult things. I might swear a little bit. I might even drop an F-bomb. Maybe. But I'm not blue, dirty. And I'm not going that route, not because I don't enjoy it. That's not what I do.
You said that are there really sometimes 10-year-olds in the audience?
Yeah, if you're doing college shows and you're doing like welcome back to school shows because they're bringing their parents. I did a parents weekend show. I've done again these little Sibs weekend. It's where they get to bring their little brother and
What
sister.
is that like? It's got to be different. Not normally having children in an audience.
The great thing about comedy that I love, you get put in all situations. I love that.
Yeah.
I have done children's shows before. When I was a cruise director, I wasn't a comic, but I'd have to entertain the kids. I was actually, when I started on cruise ships, I was in college, and in the summer, I would take my summer break and work on a ship because that's how I paid for school. And I was the youth director.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit on the first time.
So I've always liked kids. I have a few little kid jokes I can throw in there.
You do?
And the first time I had to actually do an all-ages show was at the Columbus Funny Bone. And I was featuring that week for Haywood Banks. And Haywood Banks he's very popular, and he does an all-ages show.
Oh, okay.
So I walk out there, and they're kids running around, in the comedy club. I'm like, what happened? I felt like I was a clown at a birthday party.
Oh, my God.
But the kids sat down, they got together. I did my set. I didn't really change anything. I mean, there were certain jokes I knew I couldn't do, and I was just featuring them, so I only had to do 20 minutes. But I did my set. They loved it.
Because I know that you're friends with Pete Lee, I have a story for you I have to tell you right now. So he was here just a couple weeks ago.
Yes, he was. We talked.
And after I recorded the podcast with him, the day after that, I was with my kids, and I was talking about it, and I was like, and I popped on his Comedy Central 30,
his special, his half hour.
Yes, his half hour.
It's funny.
And for the first 10 minutes, it's very clean, right? I mean, there's
totally is. That's right.
There's a beep here or there, but it's not even
all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, my 7-year-old daughter.
It's so adorable. It's so adorable.
My 7-year-old daughter now loves Pete Lee. Loves him. They were with me over the weekend, and she's like, Pete Lee.
And can I tell you something? That's a great feeling. I've done shows, and I love it when they'll come up to me and say, this is what they say, you rock.
Yeah. Oh.
That's the sweetest.
I couldn't believe it. My daughter loves Pete Lee.
I'm not surprised. He's a cutie, too, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. He is a cute little guy. And I did shut it off towards the last 10 minutes. I think he started saying, masturbation.
Right.
And so, I'm not ready to explain any of these words. It's clean enough for basic cable, but not in my living room with my daughter.
Your daughter.
So.
How old's your daughter?
She's 7.
I'm sorry, you said
and then
7.
Then I have another daughter, Anna, who's 5.
Okay.
And she, I don't think she was in the room. She wasn't really paying attention, but Megan was digging Pete Lee.
That's hilarious.
I couldn't believe it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Pete's awesome, and that's something I've always wanted to appeal to a lot of people. I truly do. I don't want to do children's shows. Okay, don't get me wrong, but I do like to appeal to
puppets.
Yeah. I don't want to do that. Mm-mm.
Jim Henson made a good career out of it.
I met Jim Henson.
What?
I'm old. I met Jim Henson when it's one of my I have never really told this story publicly, but it's one of my favorite, most absolute special memories in my life.
I want to hear this.
I was in the sixth grade. How old are you then? 12?
Yeah,
12. Yeah, 12.
Mm-hmm.
12 years old. I was living in Arlington, Virginia. I have a whole nother life I'm starting to now talk about in my act. My mother at the time was married to a man who worked for the Department of State. And we lived in Arlington, Virginia. And it was kind of like a lot of, not what do you call people, like I guess not embassy people, but where we lived. It was all people who worked for the Department of State pretty much in that area.
Okay.
So it was pretty kind of private. So it was Halloween. We were all getting dressed up, and my mom was going to take us and a big group of kids, and we were going to go all to all the houses.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to this one house. They open the door, and Kermit the Frog comes around. No, was it Kermit the Frog? Let me get it right. No, it wasn't Kermit. Fozzie came around. Because we wanted to see Kermit, and he didn't have Kermit. But Fozzie came around, and we were like, "Oh my God!" I think it was Fozzie. Did he do Fozzie?
I'm not sure.
It was a puppet. It was one of the two. It wasn't Kermit, and I don't think it was Miss Piggy. I'm not messing up the story, but it was a great memory. I'm thinking it was Fozzie, or did Frank Oz do Fozzie?
I don't remember.
Okay, but anyway, because I was a huge fan. But anyway, he came out, and we were like, "Oh my God!" And we were like, "Where is Kermit? Where is Kermit?" And he's like, "Kermit's not here." And then Jim Henson pops his head around. The puppet's gone. He comes around, and the woman who was there, she goes, "Do you guys know who this is?" And all the kids didn't know. And I go, "Jim Henson."
No way.
And she goes, "That's right." I said, "That's Jim Henson." And he just looked at me, and it was funny. I mean, and he signed my he signed my candy bag.
Do you still have it?
No.
Oh.
I was a kid of 6. I should have kept that. I didn't think to keep that. But yeah, he signed it. And, I think I put it away somewhere. Who knows what happened? After that, we moved overseas to Indonesia. So who knows what happened to that. But I remember the next day I went to school, and I told my teacher that I met Jim Henson, that he was over in our area. And when we went trick-or-treating, he was there. And I told her what happened. And she said, "No, he was not." I said, "Yes, he was." Then later in the day, she said, "You were right." She said, "Jim Henson was in town at a parade." She didn't believe me, but he was in town, and he was there for some parade.
Crazy. Crazy.
So that I actually met the great Jim Henson.
Holy crap.
It was one of the, and it was cool because when I saw him, I was just like, "Oh my!" That was my first celebrity, I guess, sighting. I guess.
Sure.
And it was he had that beard,
Uh-huh.
and that look, and I don't know. I don't know. Ever since that, I had this thing for I love Jim Henson, and then when he passed away, it was just
Right.
really so sad.
Yeah, really young.
Really young.
Yeah, he was in his 50s, I think. That is amazing. Wow.
I gotta remember. I gotta find out. Ask my sister if she remembers if it was Fozzie who came around the corner. But I remember we were all like, "Where's Kermit?" Where's
Right.
Kermit?
Right. Do you remember what he gave? What kind of candy? Was it Rich Guy?
I was so excited. I just remember I was in the back, and all the little kids were in the front, the little young ones. And we were just excited. And we just held our bags out, and they just gave us candy.
That is amazing.
But when I said Jim Henson, they both looked there like, "Oh, impressive."
I'm reading his biography right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, my parents, my kids bought it for me or whatever. Someone bought it for me.
Where's he from?
He is from. He moved all over the place.
Okay.
Kind of like you. Moved around a lot.
Because I wondered what he was. Because he was just like in our neighborhood. I wondered, was he from that area?
I think that sounds right.
From that area, in Virginia?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that sounds right.
Okay. It was just so cool, though.
That's amazing. All right, so you got the CD out.
Yes.
And but then the big thing that I saw you on television.
That's right.
On OWN.
On Oprah Winfrey Network.
The channel I had to look up and find out where it was.
Yep. I knew where it was.
Yeah.
I love me some Oprah. I knew where it was.
So you worked with Wanda Sykes.
I did. That was it's been one of the greatest joys of my career.
Yeah.
Hope I don't sound like I'm like kissing her ass or anything, but I really do. I'm just a huge fan. And I had a list of people I wanted to work with in my lifetime, like just the dream. You know how you put dream people you like to work with?
Yeah.
And there were only 3. Chris Rock, Wanda Sykes, and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So then the last time I saw you,
Yep.
I got to open for Dave Chappelle, which was crazy. Then the next year, I get a call from a producer who says we're doing this show on the Oprah Winfrey Network called Wanda Sykes Presents Herlarious.
Yeah.
And Wanda has picked a few comics, and you're one of them. And I'm like, Wanda Sykes picked me? That's just like, wow.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was going through this, as all comics do, what's going on with my career? What am I doing? What's next for me? How am I going to get my name out there more? I don't have a manager. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing this all myself. I mean, I have a college agents who take care of me and book me, and I have good relationships with some of the club bookers.
Yeah.
But I don't have like a manager, you know? So I was like, oh, what's going to be next for me? And then I got that call, and I remember telling my husband, and we high-fived each other, and he was like, see, you're always wondering. And my husband's my biggest supporter. He goes, I always tell you, you're good at what you do. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't slack. Just keep doing what you're doing and stay positive. He always says that, even with his, what he has going on. And so my husband has MS, by the way.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that was when I was here the last time we talked about it. We had just started looking into it. He was just starting to have pains and things were going on.
Oh, my.
And it's something I'm actually now talking about because both of us have one. He has an autoimmune disease, and I also have one, but mine is very mild. I don't have MS. It's very mild in comparison to his. And so now I've been sort of talking about that. And he's been such a support, even through all of the things he's going through. He's just like, get out there, go make this happen, And when we got that, we went to he was there at the taping. It was such a great thing because they had me go first on my show.
Okay.
And I went out, and I got a standing ovation. And
Where was it filmed?
It was filmed at the Oprah Winfrey Network and the studios, Harpo Studios in Chicago.
Oh, the Harpo Studios.
We did that show on the same stage that Oprah Winfrey did her talk show.
Oh, it is.
I was on the stage, which is like, for me, it's like, I have arrived.
Yeah, you get a car. You get a car.
Well, I have a joke that I do that talk about my husband being a teacher and how he's always educating me, homeschooling me. And he asked me when was Abraham Lincoln elected into office. And I do this bit about not knowing and everything. And then I asked the audience, did you guys know? And I say, even college students don't know.
Yeah.
And I said, one student at a college, when I asked, she said 19. I said, stop right there. You're not going to graduate, And then I go, turns out she was an education major. And everybody goes, I go, yeah. And then I go, imagine her teaching history. And so I do this whole thing, 1972, Bill Clinton freed the slaves. And Oprah Winfrey led the Underground Railroad.
That's right.
So the crowd starts laughing, and I say, could you imagine Oprah Winfrey and the Underground Railroad? And I go, if you look under your chairs. So they're laughing. And then I go, freedom. They love that joke. And I believed Oprah liked it too, because when the show aired, they were tweeting lines. And they tweeted that line, and they tweeted another line from another show. Yes, that's been a real popular. A lot of people really love the freedom joke. So it was a great feeling to do that bit right there in Harpo. It was crazy.
Crazy. So did you actually meet Oprah?
No, Oprah saw us, though, from what I understand, but we didn't meet. We were all wondering, is she going to be here? Because I think if she had walked in, I don't know what we would have done. I think we all would have passed out. But no, she was not there. But my understanding was she watched the taping of it. She was able to see it somehow, I believe.
And then how did you find out how Wanda found out about you?
They looked at our sets. And at the time, the college agency, when I was here, had taped my set, for promo for the colleges.
Right.
And they had edited and put everything together. And I believe they watched that set. And that joke is in there.
Let's see. I have the names here. You probably know off the top of your head. It was Carmen. Carmen Lynch was on there with you.
Yes, Carmen Lynch. And also, not Andy Smith, I'm sorry. Andy was on the other show. But it was Carmen Lynch on my show, myself, and Marina Franklin out of New York.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, as I've said a couple times, Carmen Lynch was. I recorded a podcast with Carmen, but no one heard it.
No,
because we had an audio problem. So
you got to redo that when she comes back.
Yeah, I know. We could have posted it. It would have been because it was Carmen and Dan St. Germain.
Oh, that's
we could have posted it with just them talking, and not me.
Oh, that would have been odd.
But what they're reacting to, I don't know. So we had to.
Oh, well, you got to do another one.
I
Carmen's
know.
Great. She's funny lady, very funny.
And you were telling me, let's talk about before we started recording. You were telling me about you guys kind of did sat around a table, did some chatting.
When we did the Herlarious show, Wanda had discussions with us, like a round table discussion about comedy. We talked about females in comedy and all of that, and we talked about different things. And one of the questions was, have you ever said anything that got you into trouble? And I don't want to mess up Carmen's joke, but she talked about, being in a benefit or cancer benefit or something like that. And her opening line was, my allergies are killing me. That was hilarious. And I told a story about, I did a college that was a religious college. It was a Baptist college. Now, I don't really do super religious schools because they're, you got to be real. You got to be careful in these, so I don't really do a lot of super religious schools.
Well,
but
people get sensitive about that.
They're very sensitive. And I'll be honest with you, it's not even the students, it's the teachers that
Faculty,
are there.
sure.
They're nervous. So anyway, I do this show. I had to sign a conduct form. I have never had to sign a conduct form. I'm a grown woman. I'm a comic. Conduct form? I sign it anyway.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. I'm not going to do anything crazy. So I sign this conduct form. Before the show, this advisor is just like, she's trying to scare me. We've had comics here before, and, they just don't do well because they end up going dirty. And these students get demerits here if they swear. I go, what?
Huh?
Yeah, they get demerits here. And, we're very sensitive. And we like comics like Brian Regan. I go, well, why don't you hire Brian Regan? Well, we can't afford Brian Regan. Well,
can you do his material?
Right. So I go out. Show is fine. I can do a clean show with no problem with it. I told one joke, and it's about the movie Elizabeth. This is one of my favorite movies. And I talk about how I didn't know the Queen of England during that time. I believe it's either 16th or the 17th century. She was not married.
Okay.
And I thought, well, she had to be married. She's the queen. The queen has to be married. She was never married. And I was, I didn't know that. I said, but she was messing around with somebody who already was married. I said, but the queen didn't know that because he was a player. And I said, they were players back then. And I'm like, he played the queen. Are you stupid? And I do this whole bit.
Right.
And I do the scene where she says, he comes up to the queen at this party because she's not speaking to him. He says, Elizabeth, why aren't you speaking to me? She walks away and he grabs her and he says, you're my Elizabeth. And she says, I am not your Elizabeth. I am no man's Elizabeth. There's but one queen here and no master. And she walks out and everybody bows. And I remember that moment like, damn. That's how you exit a room, like everybody bowed. So I'm telling the joke. I go, I could have used that in my single days. You're at a club, the bar, drunk guy comes up, wants to talk to you. You don't want to talk to him. He flips the script, goes from being nice to mean. He calls you a name. I've seen it happen. He might say, whatever, ho. Right. I don't want to talk to you anyway. I go, I am not your ho. I am no man's ho. There's but one ho here. Then I go, then randomly point at any other girl at the end of the bar. And then run, right? The students love the joke. Joke killed. That was the only edgy whatever, if you consider that edgy joke that I did in that set.
Right.
She calls my agency and she says, Tracey did a good job, but she said ho. And my agent goes, Tracey is probably one of the cleaner comics we have.
Right.
And if you think she was dirty, we might have some issues with some other comedians.
Yikes.
Yeah. She said ho. Just for that.
Is there any other punishment? Do they keep 5% or
No, really. I think for her, I could see it in her eyes. She wanted me to fail. She wanted to prove once again. I think she doesn't really want comics, even though she said she want Brian Regan. Listen, they can't afford a Brian Regan, right?
Probably doesn't know who Brian Regan is, so someone told her that name.
Yeah, so I don't think she wanted comics anymore. I think she was trying to get away from comics. And she just had that one excuse. I mean, this woman went on and on. Like, she was trying to scare me to death. Then what was so funny to me, she goes, I'm reading the book, The Hunger Games. Have you read The Hunger Games? And somebody told me that's the most bloodiest, deadliest book ever.
Yeah, I hear the movies are tame compared to what's really in these books. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that won't happen again because I'm not doing any more of those schools.
Did you do a lot of colleges in 2013?
Did a ton of colleges in 2013. And then what was great also that happened in 2013, I booked 4 of the college conferences where you also you submit and you get selected. So I booked 4 conferences. And I'm actually going this next month to Boston to do the NACA Nationals, the College National Convention. But I did I was in Pennsylvania. I was in, back in Boston. I did done a ton of conferences and booked a ton of schools. Then lost my luggage. I was on the road 3 weeks doing colleges, and Delta Lost my luggage. And if you want to look it up on my Twitter, you can look at my Twitter feed and read the whole conversation and everything that went on.
Okay.
I was in Tulsa for the convention, and I had to fly from Tulsa back to Rochester to drive up to the Adirondacks.
Okay.
And I was bringing a friend with me. There's a college up there, Paul Smith's College. It's beautiful up there near Lake Placid.
I bet.
Beautiful. So I brought a friend because I wanted, let's enjoy it. Well, I got delayed because the plane was leaking fuel in Tulsa, so they got us all off the plane. But you know how these airlines are nowadays. They all got off the plane, the pilot, the flight attendants, they just walked away. They all left. They just left us at the gate.
We're done.
No explanation, nothing. We're just standing there, 6 a.m.
Oh, no.
So then a young guy comes over with these business cards, and he starts handing out these business cards, and he says, okay, you guys call this 1-800 number, and you can reschedule your flights. And this woman was so funny. She got up. She's, oh, hell no, he not. She went nuts. So she you better get somebody over here.
Uh-huh.
And then other people were like, yeah, look at all these people here.
What she said.
Yeah. So they got people over there. So they were helping us out. By the time they got to me, they were like, well, Ms. Ashley, we can get you to Rochester, but it's going to take 4 flights now.
Instead of 1.
Instead of 1.
Huh.
4 flights. So I had to go fly American on the first flight and then fly Delta on the rest of the flights. In the meantime, I said, well, can I get my bag? Because now I got to check my bag with American.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, or Delta, however they want to do it. She goes, yeah, we're trying to find your luggage. They couldn't find our luggage. We had not left Tulsa. Where did the luggage go? They couldn't find our bags. It was the most unbelievable thing I had experienced. I'm like, what is going on? So they tell me, you know what? We think that your bag has been sent to Rochester. So it'll be there already. You think? So as I'm leaving...
It just checked into your room. It's ordering movies.
Right. As I'm leaving, they come running out. We found your bag. I'm like, I thought you said our bags are... No, we found it. And we're going to get it on the plane. You go ahead. We're taking care of everything. We'll go with you, get it all checked in.
Uh-huh.
I said, are you sure? Yeah, we're sure. So I get on all these 4 flights. I finally get to Rochester that evening. Waiting at the baggage claim. No bag.
Getting dizzy watching it.
Right? I'm praying. No bag. I go to the baggage claim, talk to the guy, and he was from I don't know where this guy was from. I think he might have been African. I don't know. I don't want to mess up the accent, but I walk in. I go, sir, they told me they had lost, they couldn't find my bag. Then they found it. They promised me that they would get my bag here. He goes, oh, they lie. Oh. That was the first thing out of his mouth. Oh, they lie. They always lie. They tell everybody their bag going to be here. It never here. And my girlfriend Elsa, she turns her head. She starts laughing.
Right.
Because she's like, this is ridiculous at this point. Oh, they lie. I said,
at least you got the message from this guy.
Right.
Great person to deliver it.
But he was so listen, I promise you, we will get your bag to deliver to you. Are you staying at a hotel near the airport? I said, no, we're in the Adirondacks. He goes, oh, that's far. I knew then I was screwed. I'm like, Tracey, you're not getting this bag. So we go get the rental car. He promises they're going to get the bag to me. Nothing. I'm calling Delta. Nothing. Literally, for 5 days, I had nothing. Literally, I had to and they told me, go ahead and buy clothes. I didn't trust that. I didn't trust that I'd get reimbursed. So what I started doing was tweeting. Because somebody said, Tracey, you should tweet this. I bet you'll get an answer if you tweet about it.
Yeah.
So I started tweeting at Delta.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, Delta Assist responds. Then I tell the students, hey, I need because I did a show every day. I was like, I need you guys to tweet for me. At every show I was at. And they're like, 200-300 students at a show. And they're like, T. Ashley 305, one student wrote, she needs her luggage. She just did her show in her underwear. One of them even were like, T. Ashley 305 needs her bag. She's so funny. Hashtag titties. Why does Delta retweet hashtag titties? They retweet that tweet. So finally I get a phone call. I wonder if I have it. I saved the message. I had to get this phone call, and the guy's like, we are going to find your bag. Your bag is going to be delivered. We're going to make sure you get it. He said, I got a message from our social media desk to call you right away and let you know where your bag is. I could not believe that. Finally, I get my bag the last night before I'm flying home. Finally, the last night before I go home.
Wow.
They bring it to the hotel, and the front desk calls and they said, your bag is here. I said, great, just bring it up. And they're like, well, the guy says he has to see you. So I go downstairs and he apologizes and tells me this is a very odd situation. The bag had so many of those, those tags they put on for your destination.
Uh-huh.
My girlfriend and I were ripping each one off. My bag went from Tulsa to Vermont to LaGuardia to BWI to Syracuse. It never made it to Rochester.
No.
He drove it from Syracuse to where I was. I was staying in a hotel near Rochester.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Who gets those frequent flyer miles? The suitcase, or do you get them?
I think the suitcase. And the funny thing about it is that day that all that happened with my bag was the same day the 9-year-old boy with Delta.
From Minneapolis to Vegas?
Same exact day.
No.
And here what was so funny. When I got on my last flight on Delta, I remembered there was a family. And normally, I've seen the ticketing people. They'll just take all the boarding passes and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough for the family. You guys get on. Mm-hmm. This time, they were individually going through each person in the family, and I wondered why they were doing it. At the time, I didn't know what had happened.
Yeah.
And she was like, and you're Molly, and she was getting all the kids,
Interesting.
I've never seen them do it like that before.
Uh-uh.
So when I land, and after all this happens, I see that on the news. I go, you know what? That kid has my luggage. That little 9-year-old boy that took my bag.
That's right.
He has all my clothes.
I'm going to Vegas.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm. That was like, wow. So I've been talking a lot about that on stage.
Yeah. Holy
Even
crap.
Wanda Sykes tweeted for me.
Really?
She did. She was kind enough. She said, at TSU 3 out of 5, did you get your luggage? Then the club started tweeting for me. I believe Acme put a tweet up, and so did Cap City down in Austin, Texas. They tweeted for me. They were like, a comic needs their luggage. They live out of their suitcase.
Right.
I mean, it was rough.
At any point were you going, oh my God, something super, was there anything embarrassing in there?
No.
That you brought for
Nothing
that
embarrassing.
long trip?
Well, okay, you know what's in my...
Come on. They better not search this.
No, what's in my bag, which is funny. Well, it's funny to me. It wouldn't be funny to them because I know, but I travel with an air mattress. Because I'm a germ, I have these phobias about mattresses. Mm-hmm. So I actually have a full-on air mattress in my luggage.
Okay.
And the motor and everything in there. So it's hardcore. That was the only thing I thought, because I kept telling my girlfriend, how am I going to sleep? I don't have my air mattress. So I had to, luckily she brought valerian root. It's a natural pills you can take that make you sleepy.
Uh-huh.
So I took those. That was the only way I could get to sleep at night because they knocked me out. Luckily, I had a blanket with me that I can't travel with, like I'm Linus or something. But I had a blanket. I need my blanket, so I had my blanket, and I slept on top. I put the blanket on top of the bed, and I took these valerian root. I took 5 of them, and within an hour, I'm like, I can't. I just passed right out.
Wow! And you got up the next day.
Yeah, it doesn't leave any weird effect the next morning.
Holy cow! Mm-hmm. I tried to do something similar with Panera, not Panera. Sorry, Panera. I take this back. Noodles, Noodles and Company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoy the penne rosa. Love the penne rosa.
Yeah, I love penne noodles.
Yes. Well, I always get that with shrimp.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes.
Making me hungry.
I've been getting that for years. Went there a few months ago, and the shrimp was awful. Awful.
Isn't that bad when you have your favorite thing and you get it and
you
it
pay
sucks?
extra for the shrimp, and it was terrible. It was, I'm no cook, so I don't know. Maybe it was overcooked or something.
Okay.
It just, the consistency was all wrong of the shrimp. It was disgusting.
How do you mess
up
shrimp?
I spit it out. It was that bad. Like a kid, gross. So I tried that. I tried what you did. Mm-hmm. I'm going to social media. I'm going to tweet these guys and shame on you.
Okay.
Very disappointing.
And?
Nothing. Nothing.
They're like, it's noodles, dude.
What'd you expect?
Get over it.
What'd you expect, man? Fresh catch?
Right?
Next time, go for the chicken.
This ain't Red Lobster.
The chicken might actually be from Minnesota. The shrimp obviously isn't. So. I don't.
So you got nothing from
Nothing.
Them.
Nothing.
Maybe they don't have a social media person.
I don't know. I didn't get anybody in the crowd somewhere to help me. I should have.
Sorry. You know what I started tweeting? Richard Anderson was the CEO, I believe, Northwest Airlines.
Yeah.
And now he's up over at Delta. And he won't remember me, but I remember meeting him many years ago when I first moved to Minnesota. I used to go to this friend of mine was a musician, and he was playing like a piano bar type thing, and this guy was there.
Yeah.
And people were telling me, that's the CEO of Northwest Airlines, all this stuff. So anyway, I tweeted, at Richard Anderson, I know you used to live in Minnesota, so did I. Will that help me get my bag? Because I was like, I'm going to somebody up above all of y'all to get this bag.
How far up do we have to go? Yeah.
He didn't respond, but I know they saw it. And it was funny. All Delta could say was, sorry for the inconvenience. Every tweet, sorry for the inconvenience.
You know that happens so often that people lose their luggage. I have a buddy. I don't think he does it anymore, but that was his part-time job.
Was what?
Delivering the luggage that,
oh, yeah.
people would be back home. The luggage didn't make it, and he
Mm-hmm.
would go deliver it the next day or later that night or a week later.
And they'll drive pretty far. I knew they weren't going to come to where we were up near Lake Placid, but they'll drive pretty far to deliver.
Climbing.
That was so funny. He goes, oh, that's far.
Hey, we talked about it. You mentioned a bit today, and then we talked about it last time. The working on the cruise ships, and I suggested to you of all the traveling that you do with the when you worked on the cruise ships, and then your job now, working all these colleges, that you should get one of these maps and put the pins everywhere.
Right.
And you said you wanted one.
Yeah, I told my husband I didn't get it this.
You
Christmas.
didn't get one.
I didn't get this Christmas. I think he's waiting for some special moment. I don't know what's happening.
A sale?
I keep hinting. I'm like, you know what I really would like. I keep telling him. He bought me a Sons of Anarchy jersey this year.
Is that good? Is that a good gift?
Well, here's what happened. I every break, I decide to watch a show on Netflix, right? And that's what everybody does now. You watch the whole season.
Binge watching.
You binge watch it, right?
Yes.
So I watched Sons of Anarchy over my Christmas break. I mean, I got that theme song in my head. That's all I've been hearing. I feel like I know these people. And when I was done with all of the episodes, I'm like, what am I going to do? I felt like I needed to fill that void.
Yeah.
So for Christmas, he gives me a sweatshirt with Sons of Anarchy. I'm like, can I wear this in public?
SOA?
So it's like my night shirt. I sleep in it.
I felt that way when Breaking Bad ended. I was like,
that was another one.
What to do now?
Listen, I'm so into you know what it is? We've been hungry for good writing, good TV. Reality TV took over, fine. But we've been wanting some good stories. And that's Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad to me was one of the great stories.
Oh.
It's a wonderful.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I was like, this man, Vince Gilligan is a genius.
Did you watch the Golden Globes on Sunday?
I did.
It's so dorky. I actually got excited when Breaking Bad won and Bryan Cranston won. I was like, yeah!
When they were doing the
there's
nominations,
my guy.
they were doing the nominations. My husband and I were like, Breaking Bad better win. Really? Come on. Everybody was into that show.
Yeah.
Even when I do the colleges, the college students were into the show.
Oh, yeah.
They're into, my shows are Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
Game of Thrones. I love me some Game of Thrones.
Have you seen the trailer for the next season?
No.
Yeah, they just debuted it last Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a show. That's a show. That's a show. Like, I'll sit when my husband goes to bed at night, I'm home, and I just watch it, get my blanket, my tea, like an old lady, and I just sit there and watch Game of Thrones. I mean, that every episode ends on a high. Like, wow. Oh, you just can't wait for the next one. I'm like, I feel like these people are in my family. I start talking about them like they're just, Robert Stark, he got it. He got it in the end.
Yeah. Oh, when on the Golden Globes, when they had the my girlfriend, they were like, and presenting the next two awards, this person and that person. And we both went. When the woman came out from Game of Thrones, we both said, Mother of Dragons.
I said, Khaleesi. That's how he says it, Khaleesi.
My Khaleesi. Oh, yeah.
In love with her, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he totally's in love with Khaleesi. I love her. She's one of my favorites because, when they show Khaleesi, we're going to see the dragons.
Yes.
I love those dragons. When they were babies, man, I was like, why can't I have a dragon to go on the road with me? Do you know how awesome that would be to have little Don't mess with me.
Like a parrot instead of
right?
a parrot.
Just come out on stage, put my stool. That'll be like in my rider. I need a stool with a pillow for my dragon.
There you go.
Like, they say she's bringing a dragon.
Maybe a nest. He wants to sit in a nest.
I don't want a big one. Just a little one. I think that was so cute.
Yeah, why can't they, like how they mix certain dogs with a poodle so it stays small?
No, let's not do that. Let's not do
Dragon poodle?
Oh.
Maybe not.
With wings?
Yeah. No. Hey, in the news today, there's a mosquito-borne virus appears to be spreading quickly in the Caribbean. And I thought when I saw this today, I thought of you because of all the traveling you did in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like, when you were traveling and then working for did you have to go through, like, crazy series of shots? Like, did you ever fear getting any weird third world,
No. Here's the weirdest thing about that. When I was on the ships in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that was a big deal was HIV at that time. That was the big thing on the ships. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird back then. It was very hush-hush, but we had people that had got it and people who,
Like, fraternizing with the natives?
Maybe, or who knows. But that was the thing I would hear about on the down
Really?
low. I wouldn't hear. No, I never had an incident where we went to some island and we got some flu or some fever. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. That never happened to me. Now, I do have a friend who was on a cruise ship and he got Legionnaire's disease, but that comes from the ventilation, I guess, from the on the ship. He got something like that, but nothing like from the island itself.
Whenever I hear that Legionnaires, it always sounds like something that, like, distinguished.
Mm-hmm, it does. And there's nothing distinguishing about it.
Congratulations.
Right.
Your family must be very proud.
Get a medal. He's a Legionnaire.
Hey, so you've worked with Dave Chappelle,
Yes.
who was a goal of yours.
Yes.
Now you got Wanda Sykes.
Yes.
Chris Rock is left.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
There's a commercial, and I wanted to ask you about this. I've been thinking about talking to you for the last week. I got all this stuff, and this was one of them.
Okay.
The commercial for that new movie with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
And they call him in the one commercial. It says and blah blah blah, the funniest comedian working today. I sort of call him, and actually, when I was writing notes to ask you about this, I couldn't think of Kevin Hart's name, so I wrote down Tiny Chris Rock.
I wonder how he would take that. That's a compliment, though. But
one, do you think he is a Tiny Chris Rock? Two, funniest comedian around.
Here's the thing. I think he's the hottest comic out right now, don't you think? I mean, Kevin Hart is everywhere.
Yeah.
He's got a successful show on BET. That's going really well. And you see him everywhere. Every time I turn the TV on, this guy's on some movie commercial.
Yeah.
He's in just a regular commercial with LeBron.
That's
he's
right.
with everybody. He's everywhere. And I have to tell you, I have a lot of respect for Kevin Hart because I had heard. I met one of his old college agents from back in the day, and he had told me how he was doing colleges. Oh, that made to me. He just rose up on my status, status bar.
Yeah.
Because I know what that's like. And he did colleges. He'd go back and forth, back to L.A., and he would still get out there. He was always still working.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him. He's always still doing stand-up. Some comics become famous, do movies, and you never see them anymore.
That's true.
And then they come back and try to do comedy, and they're rusty, and
Yeah.
you get disappointed. He's still staying. He's hungry.
Yeah.
Still. That's amazing to make it and still be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's motivating, So no, he is. He's one of the hottest out right now. I can't think anybody else other than a male comic that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else.
Louis C.K. probably.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kevin, definitely.
That's crazy. Tiny Chris Rock.
I wonder how he would take that.
Well, I hope you meet and work with at least one of them by the next time we talk.
That would be fantastic.
I want to hear all about it.
I would love to I would like to meet both of them. Chris Rock is just he's a genius, and I don't know I remember watching Eddie Murphy back in the day and falling in love with Eddie Murphy and then seeing Chris Rock and I was like, oh, okay, I don't know, I have always just felt like he's brilliant. I just love his writing. I love his performance.
Did you ever think about wearing all leather on stage, a la Eddie Murphy?
I bought a leather jacket. I thought, save this for your HBO special.
Yeah? Yeah.
Save this leather jacket for your HBO. I think, would that be dated to come out in a leather jacket now?
Yeah, but people...
I wonder how that... I don't know. I don't think that would fit me.
No? With the leather pants?
The leather jacket would be okay. I don't know. Well, maybe the right boots, the right look. I am not a fashionista at all. So I'm thankful that they have wardrobe people and makeup people because they save the day. They do.
Did they check out what you wore on the Herlarious?
Oh yeah, that was rough for me. I didn't have anything. I didn't like what I wore for Herlarious, but that's of the 3 outfits I sent them. That was the one they picked, And I was like, oh, well, okay, whatever. So, yeah, that's what I'm working on now. What's the next look? You got to get the look together.
You didn't send, so you had to send like pictures of your options?
Oh, I probably shouldn't be telling you all that. Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's what you do. You get when you're getting ready for a show. You want some feedback. You know, they want to make sure that you're not wearing a logo on the camera. You're not wearing certain maybe certain designs and patterns might not look good on the camera.
Yeah.
So they kind of want to double check for that.
Now, is there going to be like a Herlarious 2 or
There actually was.
There was?
It re-aired just before last weekend. The last 2 weekends. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't know about it.
Didn't know that.
There were 2 more Herlarious episodes. I was so excited because the ones we did were the first 2.
Right.
So I was like, oh, if they like it, they'll continue to do more.
Yeah.
And so they did 2 more fantastic shows, and they had some really great female comics. They had Helen Hong on the first one, Jessica Curson, and who was the other one? And Adele Givens.
Okay.
And then she had like all these other celebrity guests doing sketches with her. And then on the second one, she had, who was it? Aaron Jackson, who's very funny, up-and-coming comic. And then they had Judy Gold.
Oh, yeah.
You know Judy Gold.
Oh, she's been here.
And Cheryl Underwood from The Talk, and she killed it. It was a great show.
I missed it.
Yeah. I'm sure hopefully they'll re-air it, and maybe you can find some of it online. And they also re-aired our episode.
Okay. I'll have to look that up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I enjoyed, obviously, I enjoyed the one you were on.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
and
you.
Carmen.
Thank you.
I know 2 of these people.
We were on the same one. Isn't that great? Yeah, that was. Yeah, I had so much fun taping that show. One of the highlights in my career.
That's really, really, really cool. How much time do we have? I don't want to take up too much time here. We got time.
Sure.
This is something I found recently. It's from 1939.
Wow. Okay.
Remember 1939?
No, not at
me
all.
neither. It was when Bill Clinton released the slaves. Yeah. And this is where do I have the note here somewhere? Basically, a psychologist put this thing together in 1939 to ask men. This is to judge basically how good their wife, did they pick the right one? Did they pick the wrong one?
Okay.
So these are questions that men would answer regarding their wives back in 1939, and then it gives a score.
Ooh.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question, and you answer this as if what your husband would answer for you.
Oh, I got to speak for I got to think like a man right now?
Yes.
Okay.
You know you better than anybody.
Okay.
So looking at
yourself.
yourself.
My husband would say about me. Mm-hmm. But this is from 1939.
I know.
Okay. All
Perfect.
Right. Okay.
All right.
My husband and I wouldn't have been allowed to be married in 1930. This is not good.
All right. That's a whole nother list.
Well, he hides me in the closet, so nobody knows.
That's right. Does he always close the door when you're in the... Oh. Does he tell Does he tell people that you just work for him?
That's exactly what it. Yeah, that's how it would be back then.
Oh, I don't pay her; she works here. Right. All right. So these are the negatives.
Okay.
So we're gonna do these, add them up, and then take them away from the positives and see how you score.
Okay.
All right. So slow, and this is would Tracey Ashley be described as slow in coming to bed? Delays till husband is almost asleep.
Ooh. That's what his answer was? That's the...
Does that, let's see.
Does that describe me, you're saying?
Does that describe you?
Well, now it does. As a comic, yeah. It's so weird. That was the first one. Because I just read an article that said the most successful couples go to bed, they go at the same time.
At the same time.
Even if one of you gets up. Now, see, as a comic, I'm up at late. I can't. My husband has to go to school. He's a teacher. He has to be up at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yep.
So he goes to bed really early, sometimes 10 o'clock. That's extremely early to me.
Right.
So we'll get in the bed, and that's what I do now. I'll get in the bed and go to sleep, and then like ease out of the bed once he's snoring and once he's asleep.
Really?
I'm wide awake. I can't go to bed. Are you serious? Before 1 o'clock in the morning? That's not.
No, who wants that more, him or you? They're going to bed together.
Well, I read that in an article, but when I told him about it, he said, yeah, I would really, he wants that. He said, I would really,
Interesting.
I would like for you, because I'm gone so much during the, year. And he's like, yeah, I would prefer it if you did come to bed at night. So, yeah. So I was slow coming to bed. Yeah.
All right. Doesn't like children.
Oh, I love children. We don't have any.
Right.
We don't have any, but I love children.
Okay. Fall. fails to sew on buttons or darn socks regularly.
I do my husband's buttons. You'd be surprised. Tracey Ashley will sit there. He was shocked. My husband was shocked. Button came off his pants for work his khakis. I said, I got it.
Damn.
So while he's sleeping, after I get out the bed, I go to the living room and I'm putting together his buttons.
Wears soiled or ragged dresses and aprons around the house.
Oh. This is what they did in 39?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. No,
Yeah. These are all negative, so you don't want any
Now,
of these.
I might have my pajamas on. Like when I come back from, like being on the road, I'll take one day. I'll have what I call a lazy day to recoup. And I might be like in my pajamas,
Sundays. That's pajama day.
No, I don't know.
Well, not for you, I
Sundays
suppose.
is football. Are you kidding? We are football in my house.
Yeah.
Sundays is Jersey. My husband is so funny. We get up. He's like, okay, baby, the noon game is the Vikings and the Bears. The 3:00 game is da-da-da-da-da. He's like, we got to figure out what we're going to wear. I'm not kidding you. He'll lay out in our other bedroom. He'll lay out the jersey selection.
Whoa.
He's into fantasy football. We
Yeah.
are into football in our home. So he lays out the jerseys. It's like a holiday.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, which one do you want me to wear? Well, I need points from this guy.
Get out of here.
I'm not kidding you. So I may be letting you in our world, but yeah, I will. We are football Sunday, big deal for both of us. And my husband loves it because we'll watch a game and I'm like, oh my God, isn't that so and so who used to coach for da da da? He's like, oh, I love you.
Oh.
Or I'll watch the game and I say, see, they look tired. Now that quarterback, why did he throw that pass? That was a bad pass. See, he threw that too quick. He got scared. And then the announcer will say that. It seemed like he threw it too fast.
This is like you're talking dirty to your husband when
Yeah,
you're
and
doing this.
he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. He's just like, oh, and he'll look at me. He goes, this is why I love you.
Yeah. Nice
I
job.
love football.
Nice.
Now, I'll
nice.
be honest, I'm not into other sports. I'll watch the finals for basketball. That's when I watched. I love to watch the Heat. Mm-hmm. like they're always in the finals.
I hear they're good.
Yeah, they're really good. But other than that, no, football is our thing.
Let me see. Let me see your fingernails. Red nail polish. This
No.
one says, "Where's red nail polish?"
No, but I do. We'll get my nails done, but I never wear red. Okay. Never wear red.
Often late for appointments.
Ah, yes. That's Tracey. That's Tracey.
Let's see. Goes to bed with curlers on or too much face cream.
Oh my gosh. Now I want to do that. That's hilarious. Face
Curlers?
cream. Curlers. Nobody does curlers anymore.
No.
No.
Oh, my
now,
God.
that issue I don't have. No.
When I used to see my grandmother in the curlers in the morning. Ah!
Right? Men do really. They don't like that. There's nothing appealing about that at all.
It's frightening. Do you do this? Put your cold feet on your husband at night to
All
warm
the
them
time.
up?
All the time. He's like, why are you so cold? I'm like, I don't know. My feet are freezing. You're always so warm.
Are you a backseat driver?
Yes.
Yes.
Constantly telling him you're driving too fast. He's like, honey, I've been driving for years. I'm like, watch out for that ice. He's like, I see it.
How about this one? Do you flirt with other men at parties or in restaurants?
Never.
Never.
You gotta remember, I'm like, no. It's funny. That would never even cross my mind. I have to admit, I'm kind of like that old-fashioned Southern. You don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't do that. And my husband better not do that in front of me. One time, I'll never forget. We were engaged, and we were going to Florida. We're coming back from Florida. At the baggage claim, there was a woman on the opposite side in front of us, and she had this blouse. You could see everything, the breast, everything was out. She bends over, and I mean all of it, just there.
Uh-huh.
And my husband's he looks, but it was there. She looks up, she sees him looking, I see him looking, she looking at him, I'm looking at him. He goes, baby, they were there.
Yeah.
They were just there. He goes, went to get the bag, I looked up, they were staring at me.
I've been busted the exact same way that your husband was, and hey, it could have been a huge scar on her chest, but it was right there.
There was no
I couldn't
scar.
look away.
There was no scar.
Well, then, just along the lines of what you just said, how about suspicious and jealous?
Yes, I can be.
Okay.
But I'm way better now. I actually used to do a bit about that when I felt so bad for my husband when we first started. We moved in together. I went on the road and I came home. True story. And some plates were missing.
Uh-huh.
Because I know how many plates we have in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Cuckoo. Mm-hmm. Cuckoo, right? Started with my cuckoo-ness. I was like, baby, what happened to the plates? He's like, he goes, I think I dropped one or whatever. Yeah, what's the big deal? That's all right. Okay, fine. Then I start checking. Some spoons were missing. And I called my girlfriend who lives here. I said, yeah, some plates were missing. Some spoons were missing. She said, Tracy, who is this woman he is messing around with? This woman don't have. Actually, she goes, this bitch don't have plates. This bitch she don't have forks. Who is this bitch?
That's funny.
She's like, don't worry about it. I think it's all good.
Yeah. He's going to get tired of going out to dinner all the time.
She goes, what's it going to, I'll never forget, she goes, what's it going to be next? Coffee mugs? Like, ooh, hey, baby, you know?
Where's my purse? Well, I have to say, Tracy, you scored very well so far.
Did I?
But
Okay.
we're okay. Now these are all the positives. A good hostess.
Yes.
Is Tracy actually
yes,
a good
that's
hostess?
that cruise director in me.
I was just going to say I could answer this one. Meals on time. Do you cook?
I do cook. We don't have a schedule though, because it depends. Like my husband will come home; he gets home early, so we, usually we'll eat. It depends on what his day is like, But no, I do cook.
I'm going to answer this one. Can carry on interesting conversation. Yes. Can play a musical instrument, for like example, violin or piano.
I took violin when I was in junior high, and it was the worst thing for my mother. So
yeah, I had violin lessons in elementary school.
I think we all did.
Ugh.
Did you play the bells?
No.
Oh, I was killer on the bells.
No.
I was kicking ass on them bells.
No, with that nasty violin. Oh my God! Talk about old fashioned on this one. Dresses for breakfast.
Dresses for breakfast?
Yes, like dressed up for breakfast.
No. I can tell you the only time I've ever done that is when I'm maybe with my in-laws or something. We might get up or we're at their place and, you brush your teeth and stuff. But at home?
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's old-fashioned.
That would be so odd. I'm going to tell my husband we should do that. Let's get dressed for breakfast.
Stop being so damn formal. I'm going to try that.
I want you to put a suit on. I'll put my Sunday best on.
My kids are going to be over this weekend. I'm going to do that to them. Oh. No Lucky Charms until everybody has their hair combed, dressed. Yes.
Then you just give them a bowl of cereal after all that.
Homework. Let's go. A neat housekeeper. Tidy and clean.
I do believe in that when I'm home. Matter of fact, that's what keeps me, will keep my day when I'm home, on my days off. I love to do all the laundry. When I get home, usually my husband will have the house clean and stuff, but since his condition, it's kind of hard for him to get everything done. Mm-hmm. So I tell him, don't worry about it. As long as you take out the garbage, you get the lawn done and all that, I'll take care of the other stuff. So I'll get home Sunday, and I'm sure there'll be a ton of laundry, but the football game will be going, and we'll get up, I'll get my jersey on and all that stuff, and then I'll start doing laundry. So yeah, I like to clean that house. I love to vacuum.
But just quickly, my favorite football team besides the Vikings is the Broncos.
Oh,
do you have a Broncos jersey?
We have a Peyton Manning jersey.
Nice.
Yes. Because I've always been a Peyton Manning fan.
Mm-hmm.
And when he left the Colts, I wasn't a Colts fan. I just really liked Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And so I love Peyton Manning. I love watching him. He's all about football. That man is so focused. And I was just talking about him. I was like, see, the way he focuses on football is the way I need to focus on comedy.
That's
I
right.
need to be like Peyton Manning, My husband's like, okay, calm down.
Hey, he's been on SNL. Maybe you could be someday.
Mm-hmm,
right?
Right. Well, they just hired they hired an African-American female.
Yeah, I was actually...
Sashir Zamata.
Do you know her?
No, I do not know her. I know of a friend who does know her, but I was really excited about that. And also 2 African-American female writers also were hired. And also the same thing happened with Late Night. On, I think, Fallon, they also hired an African-American female.
Look at that.
It's weird, yeah.
Did you ever want to do something like that, like on SNL? When that came out, were you like, man, maybe what if
I never wanted to be on SNL because I'm not an improv sketch person.
Yeah.
But I would love to write. I would love to write for any of those kinds of shows because just coming up with those sketches and ideas.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Especially with all the things that are going. I kept thinking, where are they going to have a black woman? There's so many things they could do.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much on television, things they can jump off on. Mm-hmm. There's so much. So I would love to write for something like that. Most definitely.
Oh, that would be blast. Does Tracey Ashley go to bed angry?
I have before, but that's not something I have before. Who hasn't, right?
Right. Asks husband's opinions regarding important decisions and purchases.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Something must be sticking out.
Ooh. My husband always says if I need it, get it.
Oh, that's good.
Does
he say within reason after that?
No.
No.
Because I don't, I'm not a big... I'm not a shopper. I don't shop all the time. So he knows that about me, you know? So, no, I never have that. No, we don't have that problem.
Good sense of humor. Yep. I'm just going to say yes to that one. Religious, you said not so much.
I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And I know people go, what does that mean? But that's just where I'm at, you know?
I'm going to give you a yes for that one.
Okay.
This is the last one. Let's husband sleep late on Sunday and holidays.
Whenever he wants to sleep late, he can. I don't have any problem with that. Nothing. Really, are the wives getting the husbands out of bed real early? Back at 39, get up out of bed.
I wonder. Wouldn't it probably be like the rooster would wake you up in 1939? I'm not going to add all this up, but I already know that
Did I score well?
Yes. If it was 0 to 5, it would be very poor, and the top is very superior.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to qualify you as very superior.
Yay.
I think this marriage is going to last.
Wife. I'm the good wife.
Yeah, I think this marriage is going to last.
We are gonna last, and you know, we've been talking about the kid thing. I don't know I really don't know what's happening in our future as far as that goes, because but you know, we were talking about adopting just one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm getting older. We got to move quick. So that's like a big thing for us right now. So I got to make up my mind. And I think my career and all of that is kind of like, you know, it's like, you want to be able to be a good parent, take care of the kids, give them everything that they want, need.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
think of all the new material.
That's what, I remember when I worked with Dave Chappelle, he asked if I had kids and I told him I didn't. And I told him we were thinking about it. And I told him all, you know, we were just talking because it's really been on my mind since even then.
Yeah.
Right? And he said something like, it would make your comedy different, is what he told me.
Yeah.
So, because he said when he had his boys, it was one thing, but when he had his daughter, he felt differently.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what that meant, but that's what he said.
Well, I will tell you that as a father of 2 daughters,
okay.
Oh man, not you. It's
okay.
It changes
different
you.
worry and concern.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
And yes, and it's
it's funny because my husband said, "Well, would we adopt a girl or a boy?" I said, "Boy." A boy.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world,
right,
but
right.
It's amazing,
really?
But it changes you. Oh, it changes how you look at things and how you look at other people, and everything.
And I know it's somebody said to me last night, they go, Tracey, it's a life commitment. You know, you're older, you're going to have to get up in the mornings. I'm like, that's fine. Because I don't get up now, right? They're like, how are you going to do it? I go, well, I just have to change my life. I obviously won't be on the road like I am right now. There's no way I could do that. Things would change drastically.
Are you still living in Indiana?
Still living in Indiana. Yeah. I'm sure we'll probably stay there. Even if I have to like go to LA or New York for something or whatever, we'll still stay in that area. Yeah. That's where his parents and family is.
Yeah.
But my family's still in Miami.
Okay. Anything else we should promote here that's coming up, or? You've mentioned your Twitter.
My Twitter is tashley305, and I'm also on Facebook. Just the NACA convention's coming up in Boston. And go to my website, traceyashley.com, because like I said, I have a lot of colleges, and I may be coming somewhere near them, and I'd love for them to... And some of the shows are open to the public.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So they can come on out. And for sure, please come out to Acme this week.
Most importantly.
It's a great show. It is.
Come out to Acme.
And I know we're getting snow this week again, but that's one thing. You guys are troopers. Y'all don't care. Y'all come out.
Yeah, whatever.
But it was so funny. As soon as I get to the hotel, the guy's like, just so you know, there's a snow emergency at 9 p.m. I'm like, a snow emergency? Like the way he said it, just so you know.
He didn't want you to get towed.
That's
he was
right.
looking out for
I go,
you.
well, I parked in the parking lot of the hotel. He goes, good, but you need to know there's a snow emergency. I'm like, what's going to happen at 9?
Be indoors.
It's just going to be
That's all I'm saying.
It's just chaos.
Just be indoors. Well, continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you
much.
for
Thanks for having me back on. I love doing this podcast with you.
No, thank you very much. Great to see you.
All right.
Bam.